Hey, what's up, guys? So, today I wanted to talk about something that has been rather interesting to me when it comes to the global side of Dokkan Battle. So, we know that the ninth anniversary came out on JP, and we know the cards, right? These go on, all these characters, and it's a complete meta shift. Whether, however you view it, whether you think it's the biggest one we've had or the second biggest behind the seventh year, I'm not going to get into the debate. From what it is, just it's a shift, like a big shift for sure. And so it kind of puts Global in another interesting situation like it did back in the seventh year anniversary, where the meta to JP is completely different. How I'm saying is, like, we're still in the previous meta while we're still getting sprinkle of post ninth anniversary meta, right? So, like, some cards that are really good on JP, or maybe not as good on Global, or not as good on JP, are really good on Global. And also, we just don't have a lot of the same cards. I was looking at sort of like, what is the top 10 for, JP, and it's pretty, like, it's a solid list of what JP has on their top 10. But, like, if you look at Global's top 10, it's like completely different, because you don't have like the top 6, top 7 characters even in the game. So I kind of wanted to go over that. This is kind of a prerequisite to, I'm going to make top 10 lists for Global on who I think are like the top 10 characters right now, or at least in the upper echelon of character. I want to kind of break that down because I think it's a very interesting conversation. So first I wanted to say the events. Right now, the events, we're still stuck in short content meta way a little bit, right? So not completely, because we have the Majin Buu Red Zone, right? Where we have like Bobby's Forces is a long fight, and the new Majin Buu fight that just came out is a long fight as well. Super Buu is like, it can be a little bit longer, but it's only 2 phases, so more often than not it's like an average length fight, kind of like Merge Zamasu. Corrupted Merge Zamasu. I haven't really like taken the time to think about what I think the hardest fight on Global is right now, right? Because I feel like your only like discussion is going to be the new Majin Buu event and Fusion Zamasu. I look at like all the other events, like Divine Will, that's just not as hard. Like Fusion Zamasu is just head and shoulders the hardest event. We can also look at the Shadow Dragon too, right? Omega Shenron. So like Omega Shenron is a longer fight, so it was like he wasn't as hard as Merge Zamasu, right? Because Merge Zamasu was quick and he had the AoE right away. That's what made him difficult. If you look at his super damage, we got like 1.25 and then 1.75. Like that's his damage that he's going to be doing. But he also opens with the AoE. And this also has the buff, so he's doing about like a 2 million. Now the Majin Buu event is a lot longer, and it has a couple gimmicks to it, right? But if we just look at outright damage, I mean, he's not doing like turn 1. Like you could be on this guy for 4 or 5 turns. I mean, if you're like the Majin Buu team, if you're running a better team, you could probably get through him in like 2 turns, right? But this guy is like not really a threat right now on post 9th anniversary characters that we're getting. Then you get to this guy who's finally, like turn 4, 5, 6, you could easily be doing, is just now doing like where you'd be on this guy, right? He doesn't have an AoE or anything, so it's hard to like say how I would rank the difficulty. I would probably still say Fusion Monster is just harder than the Buu. And you could also throw in, and then the other, I guess I glossed over him, but he's not like, he's still a hard fight too. This Buu as well is pretty hard, because I mean, yeah, he's not really that damaging in the first phase. Like he has a hit, right? Like he can do some damage. Again, like I'm trying to compare it to what we have now. He's just doing Merge Zamasu damage pretty much. Like he's pretty much just Merge Zamasu without the AoE. So you're like, yeah, he's just Fusion Zamasu without the AoE. But in his second phase, he's, I would say, harder than Fusion Zamasu easily, right? Like this is harder, because where he's just going to hit you for like 2 million on one character, which we have characters now who can eat that. This guy's going to hit you 1.45 on every character, right? So I would say this guy, his second phase is harder than Fusamasa's second phase, but the first phase is a little harder. Like, these are the 4 strongest fights right now on global. This is where it's at. We don't have any of the Supreme Battle Spectacle fights, which are the actual hardest fights. You know, the Beast Gohan and the Gogeta. Like, we don't have those fights, so those aren't like calculated into what global right now currently is like dealing with, and what the hardest fight for global is. This fight like can be hard, but I think right now like the characters we have just do really good in this. You know, I go you know, Ultimate Gohan here does really good against that. Fat Boo does really good against that. The Vegito does really good against that. Gotenks, like, we have a lot of long-term characters that just came out, and I think it really like makes this fight not as hard as it could be, right? So because of that, I feel like this isn't, in my opinion, this isn't the hardest fight in the game. I would actually probably put it at either Fusion Zamasu or this Boo are the 2 hardest fights, I think. I've done a decent bit of runs in both. And I mean, like, it's that's also just hard. Like, a lot of, like, while I'm saying these are the hardest fights, you have to understand that these characters, they just like stomp all these fights. Like, no matter, even I'm saying like these are the hardest fights, I'm not saying like these can give your characters trouble, but like a lot of characters are just like stomping Fusion Zamasu. A lot of characters can just stomp this Boo, right? Like the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku just humiliates both of those. Tech Gohan can do really good against both of these phases. Like, you know, this Gotenks can dodge, or like I mean, he's a banner unit, I know, but like Boo Tanks does really good. The Vegito can struggle with the AoE. You really need to transform, and he could still eat that. So like, I mean, but that's not his strong suit. It's fine. But we see like post anniversary, like 9th anniversary characters are just like decimating the newer events. Like, this guy even does really good against Fusion Zamasu. I haven't really tried him too much in the Boo event, but you know, imagine he can hold up okay as long as you still have your guard up by the time you hit there, which you could. Turn 5 is not turn 5, 6. This guy, like, I used him in Merge Zamasu, and you know, he's fine. He does okay. He is fine in Merge Zamasu. He has type advantage, and then for the Boo phase, he holds up well as well. He's not the best. Like, you want to have his domain open by the time you're in that Super Boo phase. He could take damage, no doubt. But you get like you understand what I'm saying? Like, post 9th anniversary characters that we're getting now on global these are just easy events for them. These aren't challenging for 9th anniversary. So when I say like the hardest fight in the game, that doesn't mean like, oh, we're really struggling to beat it, you know? I mean, this fight, no item first run of it, you know? So it's not like right now we're just waiting for the hard content. So yeah, you get what I'm saying. I kind of just wanted to talk about the meta right now on global because it's in such an interesting spot. Not the first time it's been like in a spot like this. Like I said, the 7th year anniversary put it in again in a similar spot. But, you know, I think it's just interesting. So I'm going to, you know, this is a prerequisite. I'm going to make my top 10 lists. They should be coming out very shortly. And this is kind of like breaking down, I'll restate them in those videos, but this is kind of breaking down like my mindset when I make those, right? Like, if you know, give me a second. Okay, so I'm not trying to point out any specific person. I just wanted to go on to Twitter and find kind of like a tier list. Thanks to the cooler Lumo. I just wanted to kind of look at a tier list real quick on what people are viewing as. And as you can see, in like a top 10 for JP, you have like your dominant like 4. I usually see people put these 5 almost always in the top 5, right? You can have then the Gammas at 6. And so you see that like for global, we don't have the top 6. We don't have the top 6 characters in the game. So according to this person, I'm not trying to put words in their mouth. I'm just saying that like their number 1 for global would be Fat Boo, right? Like that would be the best character in the game. To this person, right, would be Fat Boo. And I don't inherently think that like they are wrong. I think when I'm making my list, I think the TURs are just the best characters in the game right now, which I think is also very interesting. That like the best characters in the game for global right now are probably the TURs. I don't think. I'm trying to think who the best LR in the game is. And I do want to say this, not on this list, it's a little older, but I don't know where I'll be ranking Ultimate Gohan, the new one that just came out. I haven't used him enough that I want to throw him willy-nilly on the list when I make them. We'll see how I feel. I'll probably get like a soft point on where I feel on him. But, you know, like the best LR in the game could just be Buhan, right? Like he might just be the best LR in the game right now. Hard to say, you know, but yeah, I just want to kind of put this out there, kind of talk about this because I think it's just a very interesting thing for global right now. Anyways, I'm gonna make those videos and we can kind of talk more about them and kind of break down into them. I think I'll do top 10 characters overall first. Maybe I'll do that last. We'll see. I guess we'll see what comes out. Okay, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. You know, I hope you guys are, you know, you like the discussion here and you find it interesting, hopefully. But I will, you know, see you guys very soon. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace out.